Oké, jongens, van harte welkom allemaal. Trots om Fin Jopson vanavond te mogen verwelkomen bij ons zoveelste webinar, 8, 9. In ieder geval super blij dat hij er is, trots ook. Ik heb veel van hem gehoord, ook als niet zelf rijdende wel paardenman, maar toch. En ja, een Engelse paardentrainer die ook bekend is in Nederland en in andere landen om ons heen. Die ons dingen gaat leren over de fysieke en de mentale toestand van onze paarden. Hoe die te controleren, hoe daarmee om te gaan en welke technieken daarbij gebruikt worden. En de basis is elke keer toch dus respect en vertrouwen. Over en weer, denk ik. Hij laat ook in hele spectaculaire shows zien wat mogelijk is. En ik heb een paar van die video's bekeken. Dat is echt waanzinnig leuk. En dan denk ik, hoe is het mogelijk? Want ja, ik zie met respect maar iedereen en ons ook wel eens handelen met onze paarden. Dan denk ik, er is dus toch heel veel mogelijk op basis van dat vertrouwen. Nou, nog even wat over Fin. Fin heeft in Nederland samengewerkt met bijvoorbeeld Bert Rutte. Dat is de oud-chef d'équipe van het nationale dressuurteam. En hij werkte ook samen met Tristan Tucker, de Australische horsemanship expert. Dus dat zijn voorwaar geen kleine jongens. Dus dat zegt ook heel veel over Fin. Dus we hebben vanavond met een kanjer te maken. We zijn erg nieuwsgierig wat hij ons vanavond mee kan geven, zodat wij vervolgens ook weer nog prettiger met onze paarden om kunnen gaan. Fin, very welcome. Thank you for giving us this webinar. And I'm happy to give you the floor now, and we hope to learn a lot from you tonight. Good luck.
Just one thing before we start, Arie, some huisregels.
Home rules.
Home rules. Nou. Als jullie vragen hebben, willen jullie die in de chat stellen. Dat mag in het Nederlands, dat mag in het Engels. Maar dan probeer ik hem bij te houden en op gezette momenten de vragen door te spelen. Want we vinden het natuurlijk wel leuk als het heel interactief wordt. Dat was het.
Okay. Good luck, Fin.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for signing up to what is going to be a very interesting evening. It's a unique chance to look into how I train my horses. For those who don't know me, I've just had a great introduction from Ari, but I've been a professional rider from many Olympic level trainers and riders. I was introduced to horsemanship, like you say, from Tristan Tucker, among actually many other people who put their pen in my growth and my, as a trainer as well. I started to develop my own system to combine the best of classic and modern ways of training, not only on the ground, but also in the saddle. I studied for myself and I continued to work for many well-known names, as well as designing, yes, like you say, my own show concepts. This has led me down many paths that I would not have otherwise gone down, like doing international demos at expos and riding and touring with the big European show Cavalluna. The groundwork program revolves around creating the perfect balance within you, the person, and your horse, to create a mirror image of yourself, to create a relaxed yet responsive performance horse. I must stress, before we go on, that I do not desensitize our horses. We give them the best chance of handling themselves in a human environment. Remember, when the horse's body is relaxed, so is its mind, and to have the body control needed, we will look at how the body is put together. I think the first example that we have is a 6-year-old mare by Chusinski. She is has a lot of tension by nature, but we have trained her to show you the basic parts of the horse and the balances. I will go through the balances to start with.
Do you want me to start the first video, Finn?
Yeah, if you want.
Ik weet niet wat je over
Ja,
hebt.
10 jaar geleden dat programma. Al een impact.
Could you pause it there?
Yeah. Can everybody put their telephone or computer on mute, please? Except.
Nou, dit is een leerling van het
Webinar.
Tukker webinar.
Can you please put your computer or phone on mute? Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I can't talk over that. There are 3 parts to the horse, and if we can see here on the video, there's the, if you go back a little bit, like a few seconds, you can see the hind legs, the front legs, the head and the neck. There are also 3 balances. So as you see here, she's in a very, shall we say, neutral balance. I know her because it's like this, but if she was in a negative balance, she would have her head up, she would be leaning backwards away from the person. If she was too much on the shoulders, she would be in a positive balance. And this would mean that she was very dominant and very in your space. To have an optimal frame, we need to have the hind legs, the scoff or the withers, and the head and the neck in line. This is biomechanically the right optimal approach to have the horse in, what we aim for in the training also. Then there are 3 noises that, of course, we won't be able to hear in the video, but there will be 3 noises that we can control the horse with. So the click is the hind legs, the kissing noise is the forwards, and the noise is the backwards. This also elevates our own energy, and this is very important in our body language to control the horse as we control ourselves as well. We are looking for a question, answer, and response. So all the horses in this video have the question, answer, and response theory behind how they react to a question that I asked them. So if it is move to the left with your right hind leg 1 centimeter or something, then she has to respond, or a horse has to respond with the head down. And from this, there are also 3 signs as well. So the head down comes first, because then the licking and chewing, this is the release of tension, and then a general release of the tension too. This can be difficult to see in horses that withhold or are very introvert. If they're introvert, they will withhold the thing, and then normally they will explode or out of the blue just do something stupid. But if we play the video, and then I can talk through the video too. So here's the horse's body. You can see what I was just explaining, the head, the shoulder, how she's looking. At this point, she's very much in line with herself. So we've optimized her balance. She was very like hypertension and leaning backwards. So for her, this is very good. Just wait for the video to go. The first exercise that I'm going to do is the turning the hind legs. So what you want to see is that the hind legs move under the body. Here, for me, this horse is not straight enough. I would like to see ideally that this horse was a little bit more straight. But on the reaction side of it, she's really tough, and I can't fault her for that. In all the training sources that I have, I look for that they have a voice in what they want to do. and they ultimately have the control. When they have the control, they're able to have a proper conversation with us, whether it be an Apache, a Jat, any other difficult horse that the Dutch breeding system has given us. It's possible to have, sorry, can we just pause it? The same thing. Yeah. And on the left side, you might see that she starts to be a little bit disjointed in the right hand leg, but this is able to be fixed with more left and right. This is shown in a quick time. You might see me put the whip up into the air. This is to initiate the trick that we trained her to do, which is to drop the head, but to drop it low and easy and relaxed. She struggles a little bit with the turning of the front legs, but we are working on her to get the movement and the momentum going. The momentum is the movement of the feet. The movement of the feet is crucial for the horse to be able to be agile and ballerina-like, like we want in a performance horse. After each exercise, we're seeing the question, answer, and the response really well demonstrated by this horse. Then the other side, you can see that the front leg, or my pushing hand, the one that has the whip in it, the left hand now, this front leg needs to go underneath the horse and around and controlled. She needs to be a little bit more backwards and a little bit more to the side, but overall the reaction is quite good. Here she stays, but I'm not going to correct her. It's up to her to put her head down and lick and chew and be able to give her a response to it. Because if we're there every single time to tell her, do this, do that, do the other thing, most of the mares as well will shut down and not be, sorry, could you pause it 1 minute? Could you pause the video, 2 seconds? Yeah. Most of the mares an introverted horse or a horse with a lot of trauma will shut down if we poke and prod and say, hey, you didn't remember, and you didn't remember, you didn't remember. They'll be relying on you doing it. So it's, as much as it's about training and doing something, it's also about when you take the pressure level off and when you quit. When you quit is the most important lesson. I remember learning that at the very start. This was the most important lesson that I could ever learn. Here in the video, I'll just describe it a little bit more. I'll just describe it a little bit more. We're going to work at a little bit more of a distance. The shoulders of the horse are quite stiff, as I'd like to see them. And the horse lacks a little bit of balance. So what you're going to see is that when you change the direction, she pings from one direction to the other. And through the exercise that I will describe to you, you'll be able to slow these down. So it's a real thought process. So she's thinking about where her feet are going, not that she just pings from one direction to the next. That was how we were training it to be reacting off the direction and reacting off the body. That's stage one. And then to slow it down to make sure she has full control of herself, that she thinks through every single step that she's making to create the perfect balanced horse that we want to see. So if you play it, then I can so you're working at distance. It looks a lot like lunging, but this time we're going to sneak my hands around. So I'm going to switch my hands without her knowing, and then switch the side. No, not. I'm going to turn the hind legs. Oh, sorry. When I want to turn the hind legs at distance, then I'm using my body and my leaning to turn the hind legs one way or the other. Before it was with the whip, now it's with my body. So with distance becomes the body. So I'm pointing at the hind legs, I'm bending with my body to make sure that she moves out and around me onto the circle, because she tends to lean in a little bit on the left side. Now I'm pushing her out on the outside to make the circle round. And notice I'm not moving. It means that the horse only has to bend once. When the horse only has to bend once, it doesn't have to constantly adjust to our body position. It only has to think about one balance in the body. I think it comes next. Yeah. I think we had one question. I saw it pop up, but
Yeah, get it.
it was in English too. I'm not sure how to pick it up, but
How much time do you use for the rest period to tell them they did right before you move on to the pattern, or the second time you ask the pattern?
it depends on the horse. It depends on the tension level. It depends on, so if you are a very high tension horse, I probably would take a lot longer and wait for them to really chill in that lower position. If it was a horse that had lack of concentration or lack of motivation, then I would have it a little bit shorter. But just so they react, I'd be very cautious also if your horse starts to control the situation for you and just bop the head up and down. That's also something that you need to watch out for. If he starts to bop the head up and down, he's not really relaxing. He's just doing the thing or the trick that you've trained. You're not training the mental side of it, but that's we'll get onto that a little bit later. I hope that answers your question. If not, then ask another one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we can start again, and this time we're going to start the shoulders. Yeah, so I've changed my hands, and you can see that she's a little bit uncomfortable with the head, but then I'm going to try and slow the horse. See, there she turns. So then I'm going to switch her back again, but then I'm going to touch on the head, the shoulder, the stomach, and the hind leg to create that touch simulation as well, so that she's not pinging off me just my whip, but also off the touch. It really follows the direction of my hand and my body. Here she slows down again. She's starting to relax more. She's starting to drop the head. She's there. She comes into tension again. So I turn the hind legs, turn the front legs again. And we're looking for the head stays in the level place, and she starts to drop the head and starts to keep the head more consistently in that optimal frame, or the relaxed frame. Because if this horse gets scared or worried, like with many other Dutch horses, they stick their head up in the air and they start running around like a crazy horse. Good. And then pushing her backwards shows the space that you can have between each other, but not actually touch them. It's very important that they feel that you have the power even at a distance, because when you get back on top of the horse, you'll lose about 20% of your body power. Sorry, probably cool. There are different types of pressure. Now in this video, this is the first time that I ever did this, so this is kind of cool for you to see, I think. To push and pull the energy, do you know what that means? Well, you can't answer, so it's fine. But to push an energy, you're asking a horse to move away from a whip or away from an aid, or to pull from pressure is to come towards. Later in the video, videos, you'll see a lot of my horses going towards the whip, either in the lifting of the legs, or in positioning, or at how you would control them at liberty. But here we will show that she'll move towards me down the wall, and I'm looking that she stays straight. towards the wall, and that her hind legs are directed by my whip. And then I'm balancing it out between my left hand and my right hand. But ultimately, it's where my body leads the horse. And I think we're going to have two angles. So one at this angle and one directly behind me. And the one directly behind me, you can see a lot more. So I'll explain as we go. Good, so we're going towards, I'm not touching. And if she stops for any reason, I touch and make the kissing noise to come towards me. Now I'm pushing her backwards away from the wall so she can have the space to relax. Then pushing away, I'm using my body language to push it down the wall, using a little bit of a touch on the right hand next to where your leg would go, there. And then keeping her head towards the wall because I want to encourage the hind legs to stay straight. This is controlling her pushing away. Now I'm going to change my body language and the body language from her to start drawing, and then I make the noise. And then she starts to come towards me. Then I quickly correct with the head to make sure the head stays on the wall. And then I touch the hind legs again to make sure that she stays more or less straight. Okay, it could be straighter, but at the moment it's okay. And then I train it to come all the way around so that it's very easy eventually to get on. So you could teach them to park up like this. First get them to push and pull away, they follow your body, and then when you stand on the block, you can get them to park next to you so that you can easily get on and off. And I use my hand there just to drop her head to make sure that she still continues to question the answer. So the whip is only an extension of my hand. All the aids can be done with my hands too. And that's very important. Then back again, away from the wall, and then down with the head. So it's very important that you can do these things with your hands. If you can't, then you need to make it sharper, and then just focus on when you're taking the pressure off rather than how much you're pushing. When you're taking the pressure off, think what the response is. We'll talk a little bit more about pressure levels in a minute. And then always when she is really good, I start to create a spatial awareness. I go around the horse and make sure she stands in one place. When she stands in one place, then I look for that she stays relaxed in her own body, that she doesn't think, well, he's gone out the front, I'm just going to walk away. She's always looking at me. She's looking for the rest and relaxation. I'm looking for the right answer. I think this is just me petting the horse, so you can stop the video. Yeah, no, it's okay. You can stop it. It's fine. Cool. So this is like foot control on the parts of the horse. I hope I didn't make it too complicated for you, but to have control of your horse's feet is really crucial in approaching, let's say, the response training. I always make sure that any person that comes to train with me has a really good understanding of where the horse has to be and why, and where your body has to be too. So it's not just about the horse and where it has to go, but it's also about where you have the pressure, or where you have the pressure in your body. So maybe I have too much pressure in my hips, could push the horse back too far. If I bend too much to the left, it could push out through the right shoulder. Those sort of things could really affect where your horse is going. So when you're in the middle, and when you're neutral in the optimal state, then your horse will be too. Could we go to the next video?
Yep.
But just pause it 1 minute and then I'll explain something.
Yeah, that's the second one.
So I'll just pause it 1 minute. Yeah, cool. The same rules of basic foot control apply here too. There's I like to think there's a pressure level, so between 0 and 10. The pressure level is really crucial in training your horse, 1, to react faster, and 2, to respond in the right way. So any pressure that they feel, that they can respond with a relaxation and the licking and chewing. And here, again, like I said at the start, it's not about what you do, but more about when you don't do it or take the pressure off. So when you're reading your horse, just before he reacts, then take the pressure away. The horse must feel in control of their own environment. That means that they must feel, in some ways, in control of you. However, you're the one who's training the horse, and you're the one who is putting this thought in the first place in their head, and it's just literally a response to that thought. The horse will respond in 3 main categories: a movement, a touch, or a sound. So it has nothing to do with the plant pot next to the arena. There's nothing to do with the strange old man that's looking at you funny, and it has nothing to do with those flowers that are on the side of the arena. It's all to do with how he perceives pressure or a threat, because ultimately a horse is a flight animal. And in this stage of training, we're retraining the flight instinct of a horse. You must also here learn to read your horse's body language, but I already said that. Yeah, so here we have Donnie. I'll give a little bit of a background of Donnie. Donnie I got when he was 5 years old. He was a very naughty horse. Constantly on his hind legs, constantly spinning around. But when I went to Tristan's place, I really found, and he found his feet too. With all the training that I did with him, he now is the lead horse in my fire shows, which you'll see in the last video. He struggles a little bit with the asymmetry in the hind legs, which you'll see later in this video, but he's a very alert, awake horse, much more awake visually than the previous horse. So I hope you have some fun watching this video. So on the first 3 clips, there are, this is with a flag. So this addresses movement, touch, sound, and it depends. You'll see my body energy go up and down. And this is me altering to how he's reacting, what he's reacting to, but I'll point these things out as we go.
Yep.
Okay, we can. I've also added the audio in so you can really hear what he's doing. First, always go to the shoulder with your horse, and then because he's quite used to this, I had to speed it up and create more energy in a quicker space of time. So I'm looking for that he's reacting to a sound, and then I take the pressure off. And he's coming towards me at this time because he's when he's scared or worried about anything, he will come to me. He's trying to do this from when I have him at liberty or in Freiheitsdressur. Whenever he's scared of something, I train him that he has to come to me. So here we have to counteract it and take him a little bit back to the basic side. So up near the head is maybe a little bit sensitive with the sound. He's very sensitive to high frequency noises, and this is what we're going to train today as well in this video. So when you're having your horse at home, what you can do is start with the shoulders, make sure that you're in the turning of the hind leg position, so that if he or she starts to run away, then you have some level of control. But please make sure that, can you pause it? That you're really accustomed to controlling the horse in that way, because if you try and do it, it might make him more scared about that thing, or if you're not used to reading your horse, you can also make more mistakes than needed. So here we go on to the fire and lycra training. Lycra is a powder that you put inside the fire, which will create a very high-pitched, high-frequency white noise. It sounds like white noise when your TV is on, and it's very hectic, and it's like this. And Donnie really has tried his best to be safe with everything that I ask him, apart from this thing. So it's an ongoing process. We do it every week to do the response training with the lycra, and it's very good. And we produced some really good results in December last year with it. So if we can play the video, then I can. So here it's just literally about the sound of the fire when it whisks through the air. He's not has a phobia of the fire. It's just a sound. I'm not sure whether you can hear it there, but you can really hear that. And this is the sound that you're looking for the reaction for. So here what I'm doing is I'm pushing the lycra into the fire, and I'm looking for its reaction. So I'm going to take the pressure up quite high there, and he doesn't like it, so he puts his head back up in the air, still not sure about it, and then I'm looking for that reaction, the reaction that when I take the pressure away, that he's looking to drop the head. He looked to do it, but it wasn't high enough for him to see there. It starts to react again when I pick up the piece, when I pick up the, sorry, can you pause it 1 minute? Yeah, good. When I picked up the thing again for the second time, he already is controlling his own environment. So he already is noticing that I'm picking it up again. And then he's controlling his own situation by dropping his head and relaxing and licking and chewing. That's why I take my pressure down and have a lower intensity. So if it was on the pressure level, it would be a 3 or a 4 to enable him to have a really good solid training time, because every time that you pick up your horse out of the stable, you're theoretically training him to do something. Here on the next part, we have the firework training. So these are just cake sparklers. You can get them at the shop. I wouldn't advise doing what I'm doing with them. I would put them on a stick if you want to work with them, but don't hold them in your hands. It's only for people with out of brain or something. Yeah. If you pause, start the video. So here above the ears, looking for that reaction. As soon as he makes that reaction, that head dip, then he's coming back down again. So he has the communication with me, and he has the ability to have that conversation. Here he's actually sniffing my hand, and then I take it away from him. He's then a little bit worried about it, and here you start to see the side of him that I was trying to show you. So a little bit nervousness, walking all over you, that type of reaction. And then I made it go out, and then to touch his nose again. And this is with 7 of them in one hand, and then still licking and chewing, and the high pressure with the hand up in the air where the rider would go. If you turn up the sound, then I can let you hear. If you put the video back a little bit. Yeah. So here you'll hear the very high pitched sound of the lycra. And then he goes away, but I have a whip in my left hand and I draw him back to that safe place. And the safe place is next to my shoulder, and then he starts to lick and chew and release the pressure that I've put onto him. So that's quite a big question for him. And it sounds very, very harsh and very loud. And then taking the pressure off here so that he really has a good experience. He actually quite likes doing this work, but the last question that you saw was very a big reaction. Yeah, here you can see the licking and chewing. Yeah, that's good. The licking and chewing and head down is all the same reaction that you're having in the question and the answer, and all the basic work that you're doing in the start with the foot control and everything like that. In the next part, let's say that your horse is doing everything that we've gone through, and then you're still a little bit looking for that performance gain. So when you're looking for the performance gain, you can start to teach them to come towards the pressure of the whip or your hand by lifting either the front legs or the hind legs. When you're lifting the front legs or the hind legs, it looks quite like a walk that is Spanish, but I would like to think about it as you lifting and getting the shoulder freedom over the withers, and really teaching them that it is possible to move your shoulders bigger, because many horses will walk a little bit like Donnie did, very short and very flat. Even a donkey could lift his shoulders higher if trained in the right way with positive reinforcement. We can, yeah. So he's going towards the whip and out. And if he misses a step, then I just tap and I shadow him a little bit. And then if we stop, just stop 1 minute. So here also we have the hind legs, and now he has a little bit of the asymmetry you can see. So I'm lifting the left hind leg, and now from the left hind leg, then in the next clip you can then see that the right hind leg is stressed, and when the right hind leg and the left hind leg are staying in the same, like here, it's really good for him that he's staying through with both hind legs. Going towards the pressure, and I'm allowing him to go forwards because I don't want him to sit so much. So that's a little bit like, nice picture, a little bit like making him sit really heavy and with a lot of tension will only make it worse for him when it's time to do the actual piaffe or the actual lifting of the legs. We've got to really think about the response training inside the exercise, because if your horse has a difficulty with pressure or something, then to elevate the pressure level will only create more of a hectic step and to put the horse under more mental strain as well. And we want that he stays relaxed and is able to offer us whatever we want, whenever we want, and then relax straight afterwards. I just saw another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will share this one.
I saw a question.
No, I don't think so. I didn't see one. Or maybe it was directly to you. That could be.
How do you do that?
I don't see any other questions.
How do you prepare a young horse for Pia?
Okay, it was a direct question to you, I guess.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more about your horse? And a little bit more about the details behind it, and then I can answer your question.
Simone is asking, by the way, can every horse learn this?
Yes, yes, really, every horse.
Hi, Finn. It's Sabina. Finn, I would like to know regarding this question, how would you make the hind legs stronger and actually give the horse a first idea of what is expected from him when training for Piaffe?
Yeah.
So the very first steps, maybe.
Yeah. The very first steps are actually going to be shown in the next video. These very first steps will be lifting and holding of the hind legs, and then a gradual walk forwards and a lifting and a hold of the hind legs, and then a hop and a skip of a jump, almost like you're skipping along with your inside hind leg, making sure that after every question there's the relaxation and the rest in between. You can either do it on a straight line or on a circle. It depends on your horse, and it depends on if it's a backwards thinking horse or a forwards thinking horse. With Donnie, the one that you just saw, I started training it with a lift and the hold, because he was very quick with the hind legs, the lift and the hold, the relaxation, the rest, the easy times. And then to quicken it up, because he already had the quickness inside him by nature. If the horse is a little bit slower or more has more suspension, I would train it to become shorter, quicker, and focus on the forwards within the riding and the other lunge work as such. I hope that answers a little bit. How old was your horse?
Thank you. It's 7 now.
Cool.
And I'm afraid he might get a bit nervous when asking this from his without too much pre-experience and training and groundwork.
Yeah, then I would focus on the basic groundwork first and make sure that he's okay with all the mental training, so that he really understands and has safety inside of the question, answer, and response. So that when you do start to touch or lift the hind legs, that he has something to fall back on. It's like his little safety or his control, because ultimately the horse wants to control its own environment. It's like us. We want to control everything, but we cannot. But just the difference between us and a horse is the horse is on a very primal instinct type reaction, so it can be very fast and it can be withhold the nervousness and the tension. So that's the key with the mental training, to really take the tension out before you even start to lift the legs.
Okay.
No problem. Thanks. It's a good question.
Should I start the next video? Or?
Yeah, that's okay. This is Celine. She's very pretty. She's the princess of the stable. And we're going to show the lifting of the legs. She can do it over and very just a point to the hind legs. She even does it with just the noise. And still she's learning how to really lift and carry and push forwards. So we're going to do it today on this session on a circle, and then watch now the lift and the height and the hold of the hind legs, and then we're going to do it at the end of the video again, so that you can really see the difference. Good. So she does have a little bit of difficulty with the left hind leg, but we're working on that with strengthening the right. Always when I train the horses and I see like a difference between the sides, I always focus on the strongest side, so that they win the whole time and create more of a balance through the hind legs. And now she goes on a circle, and I think you see a lot of my back for the first 2 seconds, but it's okay. It's my poor editing, I'm sorry. Yeah, here we go. So you can see the head is quite high, but you get a little bit of the jump. And we're looking that she keeps the head lower and that she really moves over the back. I think she does it one more time. Yeah. And again, yeah. And then just get the head a little bit more. And then when I click and touch the hind leg, I want to see that left hind leg move up. Just the left hind leg, nothing else, and not asked about the other one. Just that she tries to lift the hind leg and move forward at the same time. Because she's very good at moving her hind legs up, but she doesn't carry or push. And that's the importance of going forwards on a circle, for me at least. So looking for the reaction and then the relaxation from the reaction. And then she really knows when she's given that 100% that she's able to relax. And now we see the other side for the second time. The right hind leg now, when it can be bothered, is lifting a lot higher. The right hand leg is the one that's closest to us. Good. And I'm tapping on the front of the leg instead of the back of the leg, because I want her to come more toward the pressure instead of away from it, so that we can create more shape in the horse. Do we have enough time to just show the spare one, because we had a lot of questions with
Yeah, we do have.
because we have I have a video of a client from me, and since we had a lot of questions for the PFs, then it seems a shame not to show it. We've really worked hard over the last couple of months with this horse.
It's a rider from our region, so we're a little bit proud on her.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, well, it's the rider from the region. It's Mila D's horse. So it's very cool what she's done with the horse, and it's a very cool horse for the future, for sure. So to create the sit and to create the bounce and make sure he goes forward. So I'm looking for that he stays a lot flatter to the floor. And as well on the last ones, that you see a little bit more that he's flatter and more forwards thinking. That's really crucial for me to create that real triangle shape of the PF, as everybody likes to see the triangle shape. But to keep the hind legs going underneath, it takes time, patience, and the ability for the horse to go towards the pressure. We have a long period of time that we know each other, me and this horse. But I think it was a period of about 2 years that we didn't see each other, but then it was pretty quick to get everything back on track with it. So even if you do train these sequences with your horse, and for whatever reason you lose your focus, or the horse gets sold and then somehow gets back to you or something like that, I've heard a lot of those stories. It will still remember what you taught it in the first place, because it's like an updated software for your horse. It will never outdate. It will always update rather than outdate it. What you might find if you try it with an older horse, as opposed to the younger horses will take it on a lot quicker and a lot faster. But the horses above 10 years old will, or horses with trauma, of course, will have difficulties with processing it and might take a lot longer. When they take a lot longer, don't fret, just take your time and work through it step by step, because they have to unlearn a process that they thought was their one and only truth. And that's a little bit like if people have the same reaction, it takes them a long time for them to get out of that circle. If they believe it's possible and they have the control, then they have the confidence. And it's about giving the confidence to the horse to perform the job.
How do you teach the horse the first steps to lift its feet towards the whip?
First, you teach it away from the whip.
How do you teach the horse the first steps to lift his feet towards the whip?
Yeah, first, the first steps would be to lift it from the click and the touch. Then from the click and the touch, you get a good hold. Then you would then put the whip in the front, and then also have the click and the touch, but you focus more on your body language than the actual clicking and the touching. If you click and touch, it will be very mechanical. But if you want to encourage the horse to move bigger and bigger and bigger for you, and you do less and less and less, then you need to have that in mind, how you train the groundwork and how you train the mental response training, that they respond every single time the same. So first you train them from the back side to lift and hold, and then from the front side, and then teach it to them like they're aiming for the stick. When they touch the stick, they let them relax, and then just make the stick come further and further and further towards the front of the horse.
So you learn it during the walk and then hold?
It depends on the horse. If the horse is backwards thinking, then first I would let it walk next to me and make sure that they could follow my body pressure. But ideally it's at the halt that you lift the leg with a click or with your with a vocal aid too. So the horse relies only on the click and the response to that, the body response and vocal response, and the whip is, or the aid is just there to back it up. It's not. It's about distancing yourself from the horse, so that even if you're all the way over here, that you can still control the horse as well as if you were right close to it.
I think that's clear. Yes, that is clear.
Yeah.
So any other questions?
I don't know.
Then we got one promising video, I think, no? One spectacular video.
Yeah. Make sure your brightness is turned up on the screens because some of the images are a little dark. The first couple of images are not out yet, so you're having a sneak preview into what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, we can see
I think everybody wants to learn this, no?
Yeah. Well, with the training system, anything is possible. And this is just something that I created in the first instance to show what is possible. And we made our debut at the CDI Zealand show. So that was a big step for us. But yeah, with the future plans, and I hope the corona goes away, and then we can show you what we really can do. So yeah, it's
If anybody wants to learn, they can get to your website and
yeah, or through social media or wherever you want to contact me from. But if you really want to get in contact with me, then always call me or send me a WhatsApp. And if you need any help with your PF training as well, I'm more than happy to help you with that too, with a specific question, with the tension and stuff. And any other queries, or whether you have trailer loading problems or anything, thanks. Anything, yeah, anything at all really. Tension problems with holding, aggression. I've seen a lot of aggression problems with horses when they've been treated in the wrong way. And also, of course, performance related. So if you want more front leg or you want more hind leg, we can address that also in the riding. I think the crucial thing here is to note that the groundwork is not just the groundwork, but it's also the riding part as well. So we can go through, if they'll have me back, is the groundwork that goes into the riding, and that system or that bridge will really help you to not get too stuck in the riding. So you'll maybe find that if you do the groundwork really good but ride the same, that you'll still have the same spookiness problems in the riding as you do when you're not on the horse, or when you had them before. That can also affect if you're not making the jump between the groundwork and the riding. But the most important thing is that the first bridge is from your horse to yourself. Then you can do anything. But
I think you can achieve everything. I'm wondering how we can, but we may need your help for that a little bit. I must say I'm impressed. Ari, you're not riding, but you see a lot of things you can do now without riding, no?
When I see this, I think I'm glad I'm not riding. No, it's very spectacular, and okay, I don't ride, but I think there is more possible than the things that I see usually. It has to do with the patient, confidence, that kind of things, and that's also what Fin is saying, I think. Confidence, communicate with your horse, be patient, and I think you can achieve great goals.
And also in your riding, for example, if you take the same approach and really focus on your body language, and separate your body so your legs do a different thing to your hips, to your upper body, the same as a horse, and then you can make your own horse and your own style, and your horse dance like Totilas if you really want. And that's all possible with a lot of time, and it's not just tricks, it's also taking it step by step by step, but at the speed of the horse.
I think Linda will start with the fireworks, no? With the fire practice. No, Linda saying, thank you very much. I'm impressed, and we'll practice some little things.
Yeah, little things, the fireworks.
No, I think there's a lot of inspiration in your presentation tonight, Fin, and really you started at the very, very beginning and then till, well, whatever is achievable. It's impressive.
I try and push a lot of time and thought into it, and I really like to do it. So if you have me back, I can do the next step.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we might. And I'm sure that some people want to know a little bit more on how they can get it done. I think it was very valuable to all of us. And that's what's coming in the chat now. Thank you so much. Nice presentation with respect for the horses. And that's, I think, a very important part. So, no, I think everybody was really impressed. And well, thank you so much for making it available and all the work you've done to prepare the videos, because there was also, well, picking together and making some special videos today, I learned. Well, I really, really appreciate. Thank you very much, Fin.
No problem. Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure, and you're so welcoming. And yeah, I really look forward to working with you in the future.
Perfect. Thank you.
Fin, see you later, I hope. Lots
Yeah,
of success.
yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.